Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. When you're a painter, when you're an artist, you've got to apply some art to what you're doing. Like, it's not just a process of copying. It might be for beginners, but when you come down the road somewhat and you've accomplished, making accurate paintings from photographic references, for example, sooner or later you're going to start making stuff up. And oddly, in my case, I started making stuff up before I was an artist, really, or before I was, how would you say, a proper painter. I used to do illustrations for newspapers, and I used to just have to make stuff up. There is absolutely no time in the world of newspapers to faff around getting accurate representations of things. So it's kind of, I suppose it would be slightly a mixture of cartoons and just good drawing skills and a good imagination, that kind of thing, which you can develop. Really, but sooner or later I think you'll probably find you'll have to do it to some extent or whatsoever. So let me show you the kinds of things that I was doing when I was working for the newspapers. Let me go down here and just show you a couple of things. Here, these are all on my website, McSherryStudio.com. This picture I did about some man's marrow being much larger than another man's marrow. You can read into that what you like. But it was published in the Irish Times, and it gave me the title for an exhibition I had of illustrations 20 odd years ago, called Marrow Envy and Other Stories. So this guy looking across at another guy in their gardens, over the garden fence. They look like marrows, but I kind of had to make them up. I did refer to pictures of marrows because, out of my head, I didn't know exactly what they looked like. On the Dutch school, 17th century type painting, complete with ruff and coif, and I just made it into something that I wanted. So I did refer to old Dutch paintings to paint it, but a lot of the stuff is imagination in there. I can't remember what it was actually trying to say. Another, as you can see, I'm into Vespa scooters, the old classic Italian design scooters. And that cafe in the background kind of does exist. It's based on the Metro Cafe in town near the Stephen's Green Centre. Okay. Here, obviously, nothing is actually painted from any any reference at all. It's made it up completely. Obviously, the people don't look like people; they like natural people. If somebody walked into a room looking like that, you'd scream, wouldn't you? But it's funny, and and it says what it's supposed to say. Here's another one: two robots on a bicycle escaping from an American policeman. It was for a wine label for an American wine. A robot is serving your coffee. And this was a reference to snail mail, and slow servers and Google and all that. That was the former CEO of Google Ireland, I think. And there you go. There's another Vespa with a bank robbery going on, using a Vespa as a getaway car. You've got the London Bobby chasing. Well, I grew up in London, so that scene is based on the place where I grew up, which was called Brentford in West London, and Rathmines. That clock tower there is kind of reminiscent of the clock tower, the four-faced liar in Rathmines. So there is my reference. Okay, so it's a photograph. You'll see the photograph in the first panel where I start painting. When I get past the drawing stage, I'm going to switch off my reference, and then I'm going to just enjoy myself. I'm going to use the colours that I want to use. I'm going to add and subtract bits that I want to do it, and it's just this is an exercise to actually stop you being slavish to photographic references, or indeed any references. Even if you're standing at the edge of a lake or whatever, you've gone out en plein air painting, you should already have an idea before you get there of how you're going to approach the painting, because the painting is the important thing, not the fidelity to the reference. Okay, same with still lifes, same with flowers, same with portraiture. actually. Okay, so let's see what's on the palette. So what I have here is titanium white, cadmium yellow pale hue, yellow ochre, permanent rose, vermilion, uh, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, viridian green, and burnt sienna. So that's what I'll be working with today. Okay, so let's switch over. A quick pause here. If you're finding these tutorials helpful, the easiest way to support this channel is by giving this video a like, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. It really does make a big difference and keeps me motivated to create more free videos for you. And if you'd like to go further, you'll see links right below. There are ebooks to guide your painting practice, some fun studio-friendly merchandise, and of course art prints and original oil paintings of mine. Your support, whether it's a comment or a purchase, helps me keep this space alive for painters like you. So thank you very much. Let's get back to the demonstration. For this one, I'm going to use permanent rose wash, okay, so a pink wash. You can use any colour as long as it's not black or white. So let's spread that on. Just a very, very light consistency. Just got to make sure I fill up the entire canvas. Don't leave anything white showing through. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be complete. Okay, once we've done that, I'll wipe it down with a rag so it's not sopping. Okay, might make it a bit deeper in certain places. That's That's right, and once I've done this, I can just go to the drawing. So, there we go. I think that's done, and then I'll just wipe it down. That's a bit fruity, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to start out with a drawing. Let's mix up some ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Okay, and that way we can get a decent drawing. So I want my composition to come up to about there, and I want the bottom with the vase to come to about there. And then width terms, I want it to be there, and I want it to be there. So let's do. We've got a kind of what would you call it? Is it a pentagon? Is it? I'm not quite sure how you would describe that, or octagon, something like that. How many sides? Octagon has 8 sides, doesn't it? Pentagon has 5. This looks more like a pentagon, I think. So if we go to about there and there, and then we've got a vase there. Let's check the center. So it could come over to the right a little. Something like that. We've got our table. So just to explain a little further, I'm going to get a drawing in here, and I'll be referencing the photograph while I'm doing that. And then once I get going, I'm going to give the reference the elbow, and continue the way I want it to continue. Now, towards the end, I'll come back to the reference just to make sure, for example, the irises look like irises, because they look a particular way. I'd sooner get them more accurate than not. See what I mean? So we've got a flower head here, Do all of this in straight lines and angles, not not curves. You don't need curves at this stage. Okay, so we've got another couple of flower heads there. We've got a flower head here, which is specific shape in itself, something like that. And then we've got an iris coming up there like that. There, iris coming up the top of off the top of that flower head there, off the sunflower, coming down here, and we've got the green leaves here. The green, this leaf here, I want it to be more obvious and not just wrapping around the shape of the vase there like that, because I think it'd look better. Have this leaf coming down there like that. We've got some leaves coming down here like that, and let's put in the centers of those sunflowers. The light is coming from the right hand side, and we've got, just go back to these irises here, and we've got another sunflower facing away from us there. A stray frond. Maybe we can match it up with another one there. Maybe a bit further down. There. Okay, and then we've got shadows coming across here and on the far wall. And there. Okay. So our leaves, let's make sure that the leaves come down here like that. I'll mark them in. So that's a mark there. There's an iris flower head there. Oh, and there's a little sunflower head there. And then make sure put in that center. These centers will help me remember where everything is. There and there, that's the center. Okay, so that will be my drawing. Now, I might just do myself a little notan while I'm here. So, grab some burnt sienna. And maybe I can do the leafy parts there. And then shadows there, like that. Shadows being cast across here and up there. Okay. And then underneath there, that's all shadow too. Okay. Shadow along there, a bit dark there. All right. So I've switched away from the reference now. So we don't have the reference. We're just going to use this as a launching pad to make a painting. Okay. So I know that there are irises and there are sunflowers. So let me grab some ultramarine and permanent rose, and I'm going to put in some these. I will go back towards the end to see how the flowers are. But you know, if I was doing an illustration and there was something that I didn't quite know how to represent, I would use you know, the Google to find images of what I require, just in order to make sure that they look convincing, because that was my style of painting. I wanted to to make things look like what they're supposed to be. So I would get references, but most of the painting would be done without recourse to references. Okay, so let's grab in some warm. Yeah, this is a specific kind of sunflower I'm after. I think I'm not sure if they're an old variety, but they're redder. Van Gogh painted some nice, very red sunflowers. So put in these flower heads. There, and that was a flower head there. I've got a centre here to tell me where everything is. And there's some around here, and these are dark around here. Okay. All right. So let's get in some green areas. So I'll grab some ultramarine and yellow. I'll put a little bit of red into it, some permanent rose, a bit more yellow to make a nice green, and I'll put in those. Remember that leaf I wanted to come out compared to the actual reference, and that one there, and then around here, and that was all green there coming up. That stalk is green, and there's some stalky stuff around there. Although that, I see already. I'm starting to lose touch with the reference there. But that's not. I know that one came up there like that. We can put another one there. Okay, so I mean, this is a chance to play. You could make more of that. Make that. We want the weight to be at the bottom, even though there's less down here than there is up there. So, you can hear me. I'm just trying to get my rag. So, let's work on the table. The table is kind of was a pine table, wasn't it? So maybe get some yellow ochre, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of vermilion, and some white. Make a piney kind of colour. And then we need a shadow of that, so let's put in some blue and a bit of red to make a dark. And we'll put in the shadow first. Along there, like that, and there. And along here. And the background, let me see, what should we do? I'll decide that later. I'm going to actually make some more of the warm sunflower mix there, which is the cadmium yellow, pale hue and vermilion. Put them around there so that I can remember. Around there, like that. I'm going to make the petals kind of long. There's a lot of sunflowers that just seem to be really just crops, rather than beautiful flowers to sit on your table. Now, let me see. The table. Let's put that in there. Once I've got that in, then I can sort of decide what to do with the background. that's the table there. Okay. And this bit is in shadow, but the table continues down there. There's wood which isn't in shadow. And I do quite like the pink background. We shall see. Maybe. Let's see. If I grab some permanent rose, a bit of yellow, warm it up, and a bit of white, more permanent rose there. Let's try that. That might work. It's whatever works for the painting is the idea, not how accurate can I make it, how faithful to the reference can I make it. Okay, so let's have a look at there. Well, that looks as if it's going to stand off the page. Now, I do need a shadow, because the shadow being cast on the wall. So let's make it cooler, so more permanent rose, and maybe a little bit of ultramarine into it for our shadow. Add a little bit of, well, it gives a nice purpley shadow with a bit of white into it. Okay, put in a little bit of liquid there that I had to the side. So this is sort of where the light is coming across and it's casting a shadow onto the wall behind. And the mix I'm using at the moment is quite thin, and I'm applying it thinly. I'm not going to heavy paint yet, so I'm definitely not impasto at the moment. Okay, so we can put that in a little bit more there. Oh, and of course we need under the table. That would be in shadow too, there. There. And we can put that across as well. And then we can actually join those shadows up, because the light will be casting a shadow from this up onto the wall, like that. Okay. And now the rest of the pink background. So white plus, mixing a little bit of vermilion as well. White, the two reds, and a touch of yellow. Make it a warm pink. And then that's gonna come across there. Make sure I keep that leaf coming around there like that. Add a bit more permanent rose. As we come up towards the top of the painting, just slightly darken it and cool it off a little bit. In a painting like this, well, in any painting really, you're initially feeling your way forward, looking for areas to improve or to change to support the painting. Yeah, like that. It's gone very red down at below. That's fine. We'll see how that works out. Let's say, just for fun, that let's say, well, let's be ambitious here. Let's say that the Wall Street Journal has asked us to do this. They need a painting of a bouquet of sunflowers and irises for an article that they're doing. Okay. Now, if that was the case, I'd probably be doing this in acrylics, not oils. Yeah, so we're employing our sort of makey-uppy brain, our creativity. Right, sorry. So, what colour shall we do the vase? It was terracotta, but I think I shall not do a terracotta vase. I think I might do a bluish vase. Maybe we could sort of even sort of make it into a sort of like a Chinese looking thing. And let's make sure that it's got shadow. Just put a bit of extra ultramarine, maybe a little bit of burnt umber into that for this side. Okay, so we've got a shadow on that now, and that shadow can come around there like that. Okay. So now we have a plan. So I think that the centers of those sunflowers could be bigger and not quite so dark. So I'm going to get some burnt sienna and yellow, mix it together and push that out. Push that one out. That one is the center as well. That's very dark now, so because that's facing away from the light, so I'm going to add a bit of ultramarine into that and put that there like that. There. Now the centers would be different sizes and different flower heads, but and it is a good idea to paint from life, just so that you know how things generally work, the way shadows fall, the way light hits objects. So let's grab some yellow and vermilion. So my paint is going to be heavier now. Start going to more neat paint. So we can sort of start. Well, actually, let's do it normally. We can put in the areas where the light is hitting. Let's make it. I'm going to add in a little bit of red. We really do actually want to make these quite sort of hot and red. There. And here, there are certain bits of that are going to be lit, and a lot of it's going to be in darkness. And we're allowing ourselves any way to make this improve as a painting. That's the idea. And, you know, whether it works or not, it's all in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? But that's what this is all about. This is all about sort of getting away from over-describing, becoming sort of enslaved to your references. There, come across there like that. Now let's make those bits on the left, those sunflower petals on the left darker. So grab in a little bit of blue into that red, grab some permanent rose and ultramarine and mix them together. Okay, and we'll have that coming across there like that. In there. Okay. So let's paint some light into those leaves. See, so if we add some more yellow to that green, and they can be slightly silvery sunflower leaves. So I'm just going to add a little bit of white in it as well, and I'm just going to put in some random shapes here, for example. There. And that can come across there like that, and so can that one. maybe we could even put in a couple of extra dark ones in there, sort of, which might be just straying out from behind the composition. Okay. And a little bit more yellow into the sunflower mix, sunflower petals, and let's have the light hitting them. Sometimes they lighten towards the tips. Okay. Coming out there like that. Now, the table. I'm going to add in a little bit of green to that table, just to make it more interesting, I suppose. There's often kind of green greys in descriptions of pine and light-coloured woods like that. Okay, so I feel that I need to lighten that background, so it's going to be a pink again. Let's grab some permanent rose and white. It's anything that supports the painting. You do. And I think I need to get the vase and flowers to come off the page a little bit more. The canvas, I should say. Up here. More pink. This is a cool pink I'm putting in at the moment. So just a mixture, a more or less straight pink, mixture of permanent rose and white. And even coming up into the warmer areas. We'll come back to those irises later on. There, but we still need that to be all dark under there. Okay, into that table again. I want to make it slightly greyer, so put some blue and yellow ochre together. And a bit of white. Actually add a bit of red into that, see what I can come up with. Oh yeah, that makes it look more dusty and old pine looking. Put that there. We're not limited to anything really. Okay, so I'm going to make the shadow being cast by the flowers on the wall a bit more purpley. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's nice, because that will sort of make the petals show a bit bit better. It still has the pink in it, but there's a lot of blue and some white there to make it interesting. And up there. All right, so that's not too bad. We could actually put in some of that elsewhere in the background too, just to unify the painting. In here. Let's see if I can put some pink in here. Okay, so I'm going to do some more with the leaves, so a bit more yellow into that and a bit of red into that green. Make a natural green. That here and that too, that's the stem of that iris and that iris there. Maybe we'll put a bit more in there. Okay, now, fun. Let's shape those iris flower heads a little bit. Now, what I like doing now is actually outlining as well. So I'm going to outline in Viridian green and a touch of white. So let's see what happens. Maybe I'll add a bit of blue into it initially. So we've got this cool, dark blue-green. We can do it on the vase there. Oh my goodness, can you hear the rain falling on the roof here? My goodness. I'm glad I'm in here with sunflowers. So all I'm doing is just going around and shaping some of these leaves into a kind of into a pleasing sort of shape, really. Okay, and then the iris is there like that. I'm going to come in, I'm going to sculpt in to make some lovely sunflower petals. See, rather than painting petals, you sculpt petals. Yeah, like that. And it becomes a very, very enjoyable way of painting. It kind of can make you think, you know, oh, I can't do this, but you can do it, and you probably did do it when you were a child. It's the way children paint. These are my favourite colours. These are the ones I'm going to use in my painting. There we go. See, so I'm shaping to make very vivid outlines to the petals, and it's done in a cool. This particular mix is very cool, so it highlights the warmth of the sunflowers. If you want to paint something to be warm, you put something cold next to it. So it forces you, in fact, to think about temperature in your paintings. So we can start to see these kind of random looking petals forming. And we'll go back in from the other side, don't worry, to actually improve them and to make them more obvious, I suppose. We can even outline the table. And you notice a lot of that in the post-impressionists paintings. Because all you have to do to say is, this is a table. These are sunflowers. This is warmth. Rather than sort of painting very, very faithful paintings, which are beautiful too, but you don't always need to do that, and you're better off for your own painting practice to do exercises like this. So I'm going to mix up a more background. I'm going to use vermilion, yellow and white just to change the background so that it to suit the entire composition. So I'm putting in sort of dabs. So I'm letting some of the cold pink come through, and some of these little blue marks as well, letting them come through. Vertical and horizontal strokes in neat paint, so the paint's getting heavier now. There. That's a bit too sort of plain for me, so I will be changing that later on. A bit too triangular and unnatural looking, so. And then coming in through here at the back, and same along that. The whole painting says should say sunshine, not just the flowers. Okay. The yellowy orange against the pink looks lovely too, I think. But as long as you don't just overdo it, you still need to see some of the pink, because otherwise you don't get the effect. Sculpt that away, sculpt that there. Make sure I allow the irises some space. And I have to do something here because I need more. Need more of something around here. I don't have the reference to look at, so I'll make it up. I suppose you've got to trust me on that, haven't you? I don't have the reference open to the side of me, but I hope you trust me. Okay. So now there, we've got that there. And now I need to go back in and do some more with the leaves and vegetation in the background here, as I said. I mean, this is all very random and abstract, really. When you do things like this, let me grab some more yellow, some more ultramarine, and some more permanent rose. There. So you're just sort of looking to make convincing or credible, I suppose, leafy shapes. See, this one here I didn't like it, so I'm going to come up there like that and do something like that, and maybe have another bit coming off there, and same here. An abundance of leafiness. We can put something out there. And there, come in and along here. Okay. So grab some red and ultramarine blue together, maybe even put in a little bit of burnt sienna, and just try and get some darks in there. And even here, the darks are good because they help show up the sunflowers. And then one there, some darks up there like that. That's dark, dark. Okay. And then we need some, oh yeah, I need some of that lovely iris blue. I'm going to have to sort of use a different part of the palette now, so blue and white, and a touch of the permanent rose. So I don't have any dioxazine purple, which would be lovely in this task. Put some there like that. Make sure there's more. So make more iris flower heads around there like that. Bit more blue, a bit more white. Make sure I got a nice light. Go like that. Oh, that's nice. Put in some little iris colour, iris in light, if you see what I mean. Just like the sunflowers, you don't have to be, absolutely accurate. Okay, so let me grab some of these and just describe them a little bit more at the edges. Maybe I could put one in there. There's a dark coming up there. Oh, and what's going on with this one there? It could put a little bit up there like that. And that's coming down. And it goes back up again. And that one there, that's more irisy there. Now, I'm going to put in some of these yellow parts of the iris there. I don't want to over describe. Let me grab a little bit more permanent rose and put it in, because there are some slightly pinker parts to the irises. See, I don't want to over describe these because then it will detract from the rest of the painting. So let me grab the background. You remember the background, and then I can start sort of shaping those a little bit. There. So I'm just using the background to describe the undulating petals of the irises. Now, a couple of things I've noticed there. So let's grab some blue, some yellow ochre. I can add in some description of that stem. Yeah. I need to describe that, I think. Up there like that. Get rid of that. And what can I do? I could use a little bit of the viridian. And outline some of those parts as well. Just for fun. Just for pig iron, as they say here in Dublin. Which I never figured out what it actually means. Why would that be a way to just say, just wait, just to see how things go? Just for pig iron. And then maybe I could, yeah, that's nice. Let me grab some vermilion and permanent rose. Put some more of those in. And maybe, let's see if I can sort of describe outline some of these, see what that does. I've been using the same brush. In fact, do you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I might just change my brush to a small one. So this is a small round. I can think of 0. the optical illusion of details being giving the illusion of function. Yeah, and let me grab some of this. A very, very pale purple. And just describe a kind of a flame-like. Not sure how you describe it. Kind of a texture emanating from the vase and the flowers. I might just sort of put, just for pig iron again. Bloody hell, there's a lot of pig iron around here. So we'll put in a nice line around there. I like that. Put in a second one. Why not? And just because I want to, I'm going to reflect the table up into that. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all from me. So do it yourself. Get a subject, look at it for a while, tell yourself what's in it, or even ask yourself what's in it. Even write it down. There is a vase, there are sunflowers, there are irises, and then you make up your painting without too much reference to the photograph that you're working from, or the live setup that you have, and see what you come up with. It'll take your brain away from being focused entirely on these photographic references, which drag you down anyway, most part. Okay, so lovely to have you, and I'll see you again on the next one. So take care. Bye.